Hello and welcome to the Law Jawab Show, where we host formally informal conversations with the most prominent lawyers of the law fraternity. And today we are in conversation with one such amazing lawyer in the city, who by his cogent oratory skills and command over the language has not only won the hearts of the judges but also student and public at large. Started with a practice in civil law, now he aces an excellent practice in the criminal law past 15 years. Please welcome Advocate Sachin Bhate sir. Sir, why law? How did you begin with law? Was this always your first option or was it something else?
My dad is a retired army officer.
Okay.
So basically, we've been trotting around the whole nation. By the time I came to my SSC, I realized that I had to choose a stream. I was pathetic in maths. So probably I might not have been in a position to take up science. So I drew to arts. I was comfortable with language, possibly. So I took up arts in my 11th and 12th. I've grown up seeing my dad wear a uniform. So I wanted to join the forces. That was the first dream. Somewhere down the line I realized I had my limitations. I was bad in maths and I could not crack NDA. Having taken up arts, I had to choose the further educational field. Because my grandfather was an advocate, my eldest uncle, who's no more now, like my grandfather, he was a renowned practitioner at Khamgaon, which is in Buldana. My second eldest uncle retired as a High Court judge. And my youngest uncle is an advocate. So probably I have seen uniforms, the olive being worn by my dad and the black and white being worn by these guys. So possibly this could help me earn my bread and butter.
Okay.
Was the first thought. So I drew towards this, and because this was a professional course that was in offering, I took up this 5 years law course after my 12th.
So we come up with your purpose of law was because you wanted to have a professional course. Sir, even though you had a family background, you are still a first generation lawyer because in Nasik you were actually the first generation lawyer. So what were the difficulties that you had to go through because you had to set up you had to be independent so soon, and what were the the juniors, the seniors, everything? What was your scenario, sir?
I've grown up in a very disciplined atmosphere. So for me, when I migrated to the civilian way of life, it came as a cultural shock. Because everything was so synchronized. Morning you get up,
Yeah.
do your chores, go to the school, have fun, play around, do your homework and sleep. And everything was made to order.
Yeah.
I'm not making a villain out of my parents.
No.
They've not done that so. But yes, because of that life, we had a different pattern. But you realize that the moment you walk out of that shell, it is a very protective environment in army. You have your own townships.
Yeah.
You have a very enclosed township. Everything is available in that small township that you are staying.
So the social
Very
circle
secure.
is construed. That
Yes, yes. Though I possibly believe that what I got because I was an army officer's son is something which possibly might not have been, could have been offered to me in my civilian life. मुझे tennis,
Yeah.
swimming, squash, badminton, billiards, horse riding, you name it, and everything was available in the army circles.
Yeah.
And the moment you walked out of that small township, you realize that you are exposed to things which you are not even aware of.
Yeah.
कारण की you are exposed to lot of things आणि त्याची सवय नाही आहे.
Correct.
आणि खरं म्हणजे dad retired when I started my law. But till then, I mean, my generation was blessed, possibly. बँकिंग पण आम्हाला माहिती नव्हतं कारण की हे लेजर विषय होता.
Correct.
सो एव्हरीथिंग वॉज बिंग टेकन केअर ऑफ बाय माय डॅड.
Correct.
सो exposing myself to basic commuting,
Correct.
to groceries,
Canteen,
shopping,
missing canteen for that
absolutely.
matter.
Cafeteria, army cafeterias,
Yeah.
clubs.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, you came to this side of the
this
town and life. You realize that you are exposed to things which are basically, there is a constraint because everything has to be paid for.
Yeah,
The
correct.
army looks after its soldier
Yeah,
and in turn looks after the families.
correct.
And ithe you are required to pay for every second thing that you decide to choose.
So true. So it's like almost actually stepping out of your own house when you're stepping out of your army thing. How was your college life for you? So because since you told me the transformation from being an army to a civilian, and what was the friend circle that you got? How was the friends?
Because I came from an army background, most of my friends in my initial colleging days were cosmopolitan. So I had South Indians
Okay.
and people, they were the Maharashtrians were there, of course. But then we could connect because that came as there was a comfort level.
Correct.
So we had a cosmopolitan group, and gradually over a period of time, you realize ki then you get comfortable, and you gel with every second person around you.
That's much needed, I guess.
Because it takes time to open up.
बरोबर.
Because तोपर्यंत you are living in your different world. Ki this is not what I intended to have. These are perceptions, and perceptions change with time. And you realize की हा माझ्यासारखाच आहे, खरं माझ्याहून हुशारच आहे.
Okay.
फक्त हा बोलू नाही शकला कदाचित पहिल्यांदा, सो मला आय केप्ट डिस्टन्स. बट नाव आय रिअलाइज की आय एम व्हेरी कम्फर्टेबल विथ हिम. सो हे व्हर्नॅक्युलर मीडियम हा विषय आर
It's a myth. Is a myth.
इट्स अ मिथ.
Yeah. It's like people have taken this so psychologically की मी मराठी मीडियम मधनं शिकलोय किंवा मी इंग्लिश मीडियम मधनं शिकलोय. How can I talk in Marathi? How will I talk in English? I think this is all a psychological thing that people have just built for no reason. They should step out of this for now. Sir, independent practice you started quite later. So how was your juniorship? Where did you start with your juniorship?
I did my colleging. This was a 5-year law course, and we were our batch and a batch previous to us. We were the guinea pigs. Because ours was possibly the longest reigning academic course in India then, because it was 5+1. I mean, we end up being double graduates.
Okay.
We are not postgraduates. So I did my BSL
Yeah.
and then bachelor in law, and then we had an internship period for 1 year. Supreme Court was kind. It gave us a breather after 10 months, and they realized ki this is a waste of time.
Yeah.
Because in that duration, the intention probably might have been good, that you are trying to expose law students to understanding legal procedures. But we ended up as people in no man's land, because we were not allowed to wear a band. We could not sign wakalatnamas
In the internship period.
in the internship period. Going around with a senior and understanding nothing.
Okay. So that's like the internship period, which was supposed to actually be your independency. When like you are a graduate now, you're supposed to be a lawyer now, but that period, the internship period turned out to be a...
Yes.
So it's again like 3+3. It's like the 3+3 course
Correct.
that we do.
True. So after that, when I completed my graduation in law, and after this internship period, because I did my internship with my eldest uncle who's no more now at Khamgaon, and that was perhaps the most pleasant days of my practice, because like they say, you prosper and blossom in family.
Yeah.
It comes quite late. This is an acknowledgement of whatever I am or what I have understood. The seeds were laid then. So I was groomed by my uncle in my internship period, and then I came back to Nashik.
Okay.
And I had a choice either to start civil practice or a criminal practice. My uncle wanted me to start with civil practice to understand basic law. I mean, I have ended up practicing criminal law. Again, this is a myth. People say criminal advocates do not understand law. They might be wise with logics, rational,
Correct.
and spontaneity. But if you are to genuinely practice and understand law, you need to practice civil law. So my first 5 years were with the office of Mr. M.R. Sathai. Dada, we used to fondly call him. He's no more now. His son did law with me,
Okay.
Milind. Milind did his engineering and then came to law. And he went to High Court. I did talk to him about this, and he was like, "You can join Dad's office, absolutely fine with me." And Dada was a man of words, disciplined. There was very limited interaction with him
Okay.
because he had experience and he was a very renowned lawyer.
Yeah.
Understanding the limitations of interpreting law, we used to maintain distance so as to not embarrass ourselves getting caught in a crossfire.
Okay.
आणि दादा वॉज अन अमेझिंग ओरेटर. म्हणजे दॅट वॉज अ लॉस टू नाशिक लिगल फ्रॅटर्निटी दादांचं. ही हॅड अमेझिंग कमांड ओव्हर इंग्लिश, मराठी, आणि प्रिडॉमिनंटली ते सिव्हिल प्रॅक्टिशनर होते. त्यांच्या ऑफिसमध्ये फक्त एका पक्षकारासाठी ही हॅड आर्ग्यूड अ क्रिमिनल ब्रीफ.
Okay.
He was a government pleader for a few years, but then that was a small stint that he did. But most of his practice was in civil law.
Sir, one question.
Yeah.
The government pleader concept that we have. So, how is it different from a PP concept?
आपल्याकडे पहिल्यांदा we had a concept of police prosecutors, which still remains. Now, police prosecutors, त्याच्यासाठी you need to, it's almost like an MPSC thing
Okay,
that
yeah.
you pass out
Yeah.
and you are on the payroll of the government.
Okay.
And you are seen as a police prosecutor. Then you have these posts which are not permanent, which you are the government pleader, the APPs, which you have in the district courts.
Okay.
आता these are temporary posts subject to a nod from the party in power.
Okay.
On account of the experience that you have and the good work that you've put in your criminal law, you are chosen
Okay.
and you are given a small contractual period.
Okay.
So your remuneration might not be as a pay package.
Okay.
You are given remuneration for every hearing that you attend to.
Okay.
So you can have your independent set of practice, but not take up matters against the government.
Okay. Understood.
So basically, you are recognized as an APP. DGP is the highest post of the government leader in Nashik. District government leader.
District government pleader.
Then we have AGP, the assistant AGP, that's assistant government pleader, and then the APPs.
So, is this selection like collegium system somewhere or
Not really.
not really?
Not really.
It was only based on practice?
They're blessed because they have connects
Okay.
and they're good.
Okay.
Let's not take it away from them.
No, because for example, the PPs that we have, that's an exam pattern
Correct. So
selection.
that is I believe that is a criteria wherein you are measured on account of the merits that you deliver in an exam.
Okay.
Here you have a capacity
Experience.
and you are recognized and you are nominated.
Okay, like that.
You can apply,
Yeah.
but then your entire
experience.
documentation is filtered.
Okay, understood. Moving on, so what was your first case that you dealt with independently?
My first case was a case under Negotiable Instruments Act.
Okay.
Honestly, this was the case. The first legal matter that I appeared was an anticipatory bail.
Okay.
This was a matter referred from an advocate known to me at Khamgaon, from where I basically hail. That's my native town. And I was to file an application for anticipatory bail with an offence pertaining to Section 498A of IPC. So that's cruelty against the women.
Women.
And I will not name the judge, but I still remember we had a very renowned, respected government pleader. And I started my argument saying that it's a simpliciter case under 498A. And the first thing that I was told was never use the word simpliciter. It is an offence.
Okay.
So in legal parlance, I was trying to say simpliciter 498 हुआ है. There's no question of custody.
Okay.
involved. So I mean, I need to have an anticipatory bail. So I mean, I was so simple then. It was for me. It was so simple then. कि it's cruelty, nothing to recover from me. So simpliciter. But that was the first thing that I realized, that I need to choose my words very wisely. Kanki, the concerned judge who sits on the dais might not have been very comfortable with me using the word simpliciter,
Yeah.
because this was basically an offense which can lead to a conviction
Yeah.
if found guilty. So I was told to choose my words properly. So that was the bail. And then coming to my case, the first case was a case under Negotiable Instruments Act, wherein I appeared on behalf of an accused who had issued a check against a contractual liability,
Okay.
and that was dishonored. And till I took up my first case, I was under a belief that this is rather easy and simple. But that's the first time I realized, practicing Negotiable Instruments Act, you need to understand basic Contract Act.
Correct.
You need to understand Evidence Act.
Correct.
You need to understand CRPC.
Okay.
So unless and until I understand these
Three
three
main
legal
laws,
positionings,
Legal positionings.
I might not have been in a position to deliver under NI Act.
Correct.
My first case ended up in a conviction.
Okay.
My client might not have been very happy with the conviction, because he did not stay back with me in an appeal against conviction. So this is what I gauge. I understand from it that he might not have been very happy with my services. But that was the start of my practice. So the first order was positive, that under the bail, but the first trial ended up in a conviction.
Conviction. Okay. So, pointing out now that you talked about the conviction, sir, are there any failures would be a very wrong word to put, but are there any instances that taught you a lot and kind of are your favorite and dear to your heart?
While I was doing my internship at Kamgaon, my eldest uncle, he was a renowned criminal practitioner. Now, while you're practicing criminal law, you end up in convictions, because your case is as good as the merits of the case. The result is as good as the merit of the case. So I was then told, because the first conviction that I saw at Kamgaon was quite depressing for me,
Okay.
because you happen to be in connect with this client of yours for a long time, and all of a sudden, one fine day, on the date of judgment, this client is told that you stand convicted for a period of XYZ years. Now that's
Very
quite
sensitive.
disheartening,
Yeah.
because you've put in a lot of efforts. So I came back from the court. I was sitting in the living room, and my uncle, who realized that I was not very comfortable and happy, he comes to me and says, criminal practice kartana, you need to understand one thing. If you put in your best and your client is convicted, हे त्याचं नशीब होतं. पण जर का तू जिंकलास तर हे तुझं कौशल्य होतं.
But
Otherwise, you end up being a psychotic patient.
correct.
कारण की every day you are fighting nth number of cases in criminal law, and you realize the merits of your case. You know at some point of time that this case might end up in a conviction. If you get emotional, you might end up in depression, because I need to move on.
Correct.
एक कन्व्हिक्शन झाल्यानंतर दुसरा माणूस तिथे उभा आहे who needs my services, आणि I need to give him my 100% for the next case immediately. So I cannot afford to feel depressed with one conviction. If my client knows that I have put in my 100%, he might feel sad, but he will never carry
A bad.
impression about me,
Correct.
or he will never curse me, hopefully.
No, I guess it's I don't know why, but people are somehow की जर जिंकलो तर वकील खूप छान होते, जर नाही जिंकलो तर अगेन नाही, वकिलांची चूक होते. म्हणजे दिस इज समथिंग, दिस इज द मिथ और यू नो द बॅड इम्प्रेशन्स दॅट पीपल कॅरी अँड समहाव वी वॉन्ट टू ब्रेक देम.
खरं म्हणजे मी ह्याच्याकडे नेहमी बघतो, म्हणजे आजकाल ना, म्हणजे आय एम सॉरी वेन आय एम सेईंग दिस, बट लोकांना चांगला वकील नकोय, लोकांना जिंकणारा वकील हवाय. सो मी द ओनली यार्डस्टिक्स फॉर अ गुड ॲडव्होकेट इज हिज सक्सेस रेशो. A client is not willing to look into his own papers, understand the merits of the case.
करेक्ट.
He wants a result in his favor. irrespective of how the merits are.
Correct. So how do you console? For example, now that you told me that at some point you realize that your merits are not that great. How do you console your client for that matter, or maybe not console, but एक idea देता है ना आपल्याला कि
Correct. So I mean, when you first start interacting with your client, you realize the merits of the case.
Correct.
So you naturally need to talk to your client and take him into confidence and tell him how the case is and how is he placed with the merits of the matter. Somewhere down the line, this is the point wherein advocates lose briefs.
Yeah.
Because if a client, if an advocate is too blunt, honest. I would use the word blunt, not honest. I hope.
Honesty
I
is
mean,
taken as blunt
yes,
these
yes.
days.
So if I am to tell my client about his demerits in the case, I might end up losing a client. But my conscience is clear.
Yeah.
So my client who stays or who decides to stay with me realizes the limitations that he has to function in.
Correct.
And in which I am required to function.
Correct.
So now, after that, whatever happens is the best foot forward. Assuming this case result is to end up in a conviction, the client somewhere down the line is prepared for a backup plan.
Correct.
That assuming there is a conviction, what next?
Okay. So you need to tell your client what next is supposed to be
So
done.
in principle, after the conviction, if he realizes that his advocate has put in his best foot forward and has been honest to my work, he might continue with me in an appeal against conviction.
Okay.
But somewhere down the line, if he feels frustrated or he believes that Bhatti could have done better, he has every choice in this world to seek services of any other advocate
Correct.
and move on.
Correct.
So kutetari he has to be mentally prepared that it could go either ways.
Sir, now I want to know the case that was a turning point for your life and has a major impact on your practice for that matters. Is there any specific case that you would like to share with us?
Okay, there was this particular case wherein there was a student girl student who was studying in a dental college at Nashik. Let's keep the names anonymous. Now, as luck would have it, there were many students in the class who were being told by the professors to rewrite assignments pertaining to their subjects on account of failure to meet the deadlines. So there were lots of students who were being told to do this. There was this one particular girl, very unfortunate. She was sensitive. She could not take up the pressure. And the assignments kept piling up.
Okay.
So naturally adding to the frustrations, because while you are studying medicine, there's a lot of homework to be done apart from the basic academics that you do research papers that you have to write and all. So this poor girl had lots of things piled up. Somewhere down the line, allegedly, she lost it and she hung herself in the hostel. Now this was reported, and she left a small note wherein she was quite hurt on account of these assignments which were being given to her to rewrite time and again. She complained about her failures to be a good daughter, a good child, and a sister and all. Now, unfortunately, as luck would have it, there were two professors from the concerned college against whom allegations were made by the father of the girl, the deceased girl. And an offence came to be booked under section 306 of IPC. Now, at that particular relevant point of time, we had this movie by the name Three Idiots. And that had brought a lot of sensitivity to this cause of education and how children are being burdened. And the discreet behavior of the management, the insensitive behavior of the management, how indifferent people are to the cause of education, and how students are burdened. And we had a particular part in the movie wherein a child ends his life on account of these pressures that he is facing. Now, to our misfortune, we had a wrong timing to this movie which came across. Now, there was a senior advocate who was related to one of the persons against whom these allegations were made.
Okay.
I had started my practice. I was rather surprised because the senior man, he came across and says, Sachin, I want you to argue this anticipatory bail. I was perplexed. I was rather shocked because I never expected him to allow me to argue a matter for his own nephew. Because there were lots of options available with him. One of the co-accused was with one of the most senior-most lawyers in Nashik. So there was a comfort zone to him. Relatively, this other professor, who was also a practicing doctor, trusted his own uncle and allowed this matter to be conducted by a relatively fresh advocate.
Okay.
We were fortunate that the matter was heard. The senior advocate representing the other co-accused could not make it in time, so I was heard first. And by the time he showed up, we had a judge who made a statement ki, I think your brother colleague has covered most of the things, so do you wish to add anything further? So I saw the senior advocate come up with a few sentences and he closed his arguments. To our luck, the application was allowed. Now comes the tricky part, because what happened was this was only the tip of the iceberg.
Correct.
We had got the initial order in our favor. Then came the investigation, which ended up in a charge sheet being filed. Honestly, I believe that it was very sad that we lost a life. But this case should not have ended up with a charge sheet, considering the entire facts and circumstances. But yes, a charge sheet came to be filed. After the charge sheet was filed, it was committed to the sessions court from the lower court. We appeared in the matter and we moved an application for discharge.
Okay.
Honestly, we had a very good case on merits. Because these people who were alleged to have committed an offense of inducing this student who committed a suicide could never have been read as inducement in the first place. Because it was neither abetment, it was neither aiding, goading. These were circumstances which unfortunately came up that there were lots of frustrations. There were personal failures, too much of expectations, failures to live up to those expectations, these rewriting of the assignments, failure to meet the deadlines. Kuthetari, I see this girl who was sensitive, lost her way. And she could not take up this pressure further. It must have burst. That bubble must have burst. And to the misfortune of these professors, it happened की कावळा बसायला आणि फांदी तुटायला एकच वेळ येणं की ह्यांनी ते असाइनमेंट्स रिराईट करायला सांगणं एक आठवडाभरा पहिले आणि या मुलींनी थकून आत्महत्या करणं. आता खरं त्या आत्महत्येच्या सुसाईड नोटमध्ये त्यांनी नावं पण नव्हती घेतली. सो दीज वर परसेप्शन्स विच वर बिल्डअप की या टीचर्सच्या त्रासाला जाचाला कंटाळून तिने आत्महत्या केली. आता खरं बघितलं तर वी हॅड अ गुड केस बिकॉज इट वॉज नॉट दॅट दिस गर्ल वॉज आयसोलेटेड.
Correct.
There was nothing called vindictiveness against one individual. The whole class was made to rewrite assignments who had failed to meet the deadlines. Now we have students who are sensitive, who could not take up the pressure. There were some who could not take up a pressure, and we had this girl who was rather too sensitive, who must have been very protective in her initial years. And there were other issues which must have been brewing, which complicated things further and must have prompted her to such a ghastly act which resulted in her own death, the entire family naturally is to take an offense, because when you are being told that this cause of death is on account of the alleged inhuman treatment. Now, what was this alleged inhuman treatment? Asking a child to rewrite assignments.
Correct.
What was the punishment? That you will not attend the class. Was the allegation. Now, there were about 30 students in a row who had failed, who did not attend the class on account of their failures to
So
rewrite and submit the assignments in time. We had this one sensitive girl who just lost it. We moved an application for discharge. Judges are human beings. They were quite sensitive because of this movie which was being
released.
which was the talking point at that particular point of time, because we wanted educational reforms to come in at that relevant point of time, and everything was projected,
Yeah.
making a monster out of these professors. Honestly, we wanted an audience, somebody who should not carry baggages and hear me out on a legal parlance. It took time. Finally, when the application was heard, to our misfortune, this application came up for a judge who was not in our favor of discharging the accused, who believed that this was a part of evidence and that the evidence needs to be appreciated. So she was of an opinion that we need to cross the bridge when it comes. This would be very hasty to grant discharge. Now, this discharge application going against us naturally hit these professors very hard. These professors were parents, our parents.
Correct.
Their intention never was to cause loss of life.
Correct.
Now, the whole perception of the management and the students changes, because you seem with an eye of contempt की याच्यामुळेच हे घडलं, विदाउट अंडरस्टँडिंग की एक्झॅक्टली काय गोष्टी आहेत घडलेल्या. They had a very bad time in this passage that we were dealing with. We moved the High Court, and to our fortune, we found a relevant High Court judge who believed that yes, we need to keep emotions aside and look towards this from a legal perspective. Whether the alleged actions, the documents collected, and the investigation carried out genuinely makes out a case which can be seen as aiding, abetting in the suicide of this girl.
Correct.
And from the charge sheet filed and the documents available on record, the concerned judge was of an opinion that yes, this particular people against whom the allegations have been made deserve discretion,
Correct.
and they discharged the concerned accused. But that was the first point of time when you realize that advocacy is not about playing the smart jack. It's also about being human. Because you cannot afford to be too blunt
Correct.
while arguing a matter, because you are dealing with a loss of life. You are dealing with a perception. You have to negate the perception. You need and you require people to see the other side of the coin. That what you say makes sense. But there could be another story to this.
Correct.
So that girl was under tremendous pressure, not because these professors alone asked her to rewrite an assignment. It could have been one of the reasons
Correct.
that she felt frustrated and prompted her to act in a manner which caused her death, without understanding that this failure could have been acceptable, but there was a loss to the whole family. पण हे एक्सप्लेन करायला we needed that bridge to come, because we wanted some judge who would legally hear us out and not remain sensitive alone. And yes, we were lucky that we did come across a concerned judge who believed that yes, the management needs to be cautious, the professors need to be cautious, but we cannot lay any motives to these two individuals against whom these allegations have been made.
Correct.
And therefore they stood discharged. And the good parents, the good professors, they still working with the concerned college, and many successful students have walked out from their classrooms.
So it's all about, people try to relate the movie industry, like particularly this case, people try to, that's fictional, that's not always real, that's not reality. And people need to separate these emotions and the legal aspect also.
Correct. आपल्याकडे we build up public perceptions.
Correct.
Now, public perceptions are built on account of various things. And unfortunately, as advocates practicing law, you are not required to be emotional. I put it in this manner that I cannot afford to be my client. I carry a brief. There was a loss of life, and you need to feel bad because it was sad that there was a loss of life. But what genuinely needs to be understood is, was it on account of the actions, commissions, omissions of these two individuals which resulted in the loss of life? So in that context, when we found a judge who was willing to not merely see through this case from an emotional perspective, and we were in a position to reinforce legal perception into this, we found the judge in our favor.
Okay. So it turns out to be a turning point because it was a very challenging case for you, that matter. So this was a fun conversation with Advocate Sachin Bhate sir. Stay tuned for the next part where sir will be sharing a token of wisdom on his area of expertise. Stay tuned, stay Lawjawab.